What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind. It is the podcast where you get to hear from me directly on my thoughts, feelings, and basically how I navigate my fitness and my health. Today is Mindset Monday, and what I want to do on these Mindset Mondays for you guys is try to take apart some of the conversations that I have either with people in my audience, which is amazing, and thank you so much for being able to one, open up and share about where you're at, and two, give me a bunch of great content because I know that the things that you share with me are things that other people just like you are also thinking and feeling and struggling with. So if I can essentially extract those struggles that you have and then somehow, some way, try to come up with a way to communicate that to the masses, I know that it's going to serve a lot of other people for free. So if you're finding these really, really helpful, I'd love for you guys to go to Apple Podcast and take a look at Taylor Hinton Speaks His Mind. Give me a subscription. Hopefully you guys get a ton of value from it because on Mondays you get mindset. On Wednesdays, Q&As with my clients. And on Friday is when I'm going over my client's technique with their squats, their deadlifts, their 3-point rows, every exercise that they're getting. They're able to post videos inside of our private client community, and then I can give them feedback. And although you can't necessarily see it on the podcast, being able to hear it and visualize it absolutely will help you become a healthier, fitter, stronger individual in the gym. So today being Mindset Monday, nope, Sheldon won't do that, but you should have asked at the gym yesterday, bro. Today on Mindset Monday here, I wanted to talk about something that I know is probably going to be really controversial. I actually, yesterday at the gym, was creating a piece of content for you guys that I hope to release in the next couple weeks. And I know it's going to sting, and I know that there's going to be a ton of people who listen to it, and they're probably going to unfollow me for it. And that's totally okay, because what I found is that if I can speak directly to a specific type of person and help that individual, and that will inherently turn some other people away, that's fine, because I'm not here to serve everybody. I know that I can't help everybody. And I hope that those people who do unfollow end up, finding somebody else that they resonate with that can help them. But if it's not me, that's totally fine. I'll help those people who hear the message, understand the message, don't take it personally, being the biggest thing, and are able to take action moving forward. So let me fucking lay it out for you guys. You don't like being the fat friend in your photos. I know you don't. And your ego is being protected by this societal expectation that you just need to stay the same and be happy with where you're at and be okay with things, even though deep down you know that you truly are unhappy with how you look and how you feel. If you're the person who is turning and twisting in every photo and asking to take a look to see how it looks over and over and over again because you are insecure with how you look and how you feel, that's something you need to fucking fix. Like, that's a problem. And we don't like to talk about that anymore in today's society because we want to love yourself at any size and just be content and happy with where you're at. And I think that there's a little bit of there's a gray area there where you should love yourself, obviously. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If anybody is getting that message twisted, let me set the record straight. Just because you're overweight and unhealthy and unhappy with how you look and feel doesn't mean that you don't deserve or should love yourself. And the greatest form of loving yourself is having some level of discipline that forces you to become a healthier, fitter individual. It's not punishment to exercise. It's not punishment to track your food. It doesn't mean that you're an obsessive, crazy, egotistical person because you are taking steps towards bettering your health by not drinking when you go with your friends. God forbid you go out and have a fucking chicken salad at Cactus and a diet soda rather than a greasy fucking burger and a couple of Bellinis. My God. And if anybody in your friend circle criticizes you for making that decision, genuinely criticizing, because realistically, good friends are going to poke at you and make fun and stuff. That's the way that me and my friends connect all the time. Just had a text message with a buddy I haven't spoken to in a week or whatever. And he randomly sent some terrible shit over to me, and I slapped back with some other shit and told him some things that I probably shouldn't even say on here as a joke. So I won't. But, people who are genuinely criticizing you because you're trying to better yourself, make yourself healthier, make good decisions, you need to take a mental note of who that individual is and how that made you feel. Seriously, because I think that we kind of sweep that shit under the rug, and subconsciously it eats away at you, and it tears away that new identity that you're trying to establish for yourself. What I mean by that is that one thing I tell my clients who struggle with identity, who struggle with staying consistent long term, staying motivated, is that you need to adopt the identity of a healthy, fit person right now. Like you're gonna feel like an imposter because you know that physically you're not healthy and fit right now, and that's okay. Like I felt like an imposter when I started my business. I was like, who's gonna fucking listen to me? There's like coaches all over the place who have hundreds of thousands of followers and all this proof and results and all this stuff. And I'm just like a workout guy, and I'm gonna tell people that they should pay me instead of those guys. So you're gonna feel like an imposter at the beginning of any new thing that you're trying to do. But if you own it and you believe it, over time, it makes it easier for you to make the right decisions. So practically, what this looks like in real life is you decide that you're going to be a healthy, fit person, like right now, and you start convincing yourself you're a healthy, fit person right now, starting effective today. And then, inevitably, when you're faced with one of those little micro decisions that you have to make every single day, like whether or not to have a diet soda or get a regular one when you're going out for food, whether to have like 2 more fries after you're already feeling really full. Somebody just messaged me on Instagram, go fuck yourself. Sidebar real quick. I love that. I think it's so funny. I didn't even know how ads really work on Instagram, but I have some ads running right now. And apparently there's like a DM ad thing on Instagram. And I've signed up to use it, whatever, when I started making these ads. And I didn't know what it meant. Like, I don't know what it actually looks like. But now I'm starting to figure it out. And it's like random people that don't even follow me are getting an automated message from me directly in their Instagram inbox. And it's like, hey, and it says their name. It'd be like, hey, Taylor, looks like you're trying to, or like, do you want to lose a little bit of fluff and get fit? Blah, 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 blah. And I imagine that most people who aren't interested, they just ignore it. But every now and then, because I can't see like what these outbound messages, who these outbound messages go to until they reply, right? And it doesn't even show the message that I sent them. So I'm like, initially I was super confused. Like, why am I getting these super rude messages from people? And I looked at it, and it's like me making that automated message out to people, and they don't know that it's an ad, even though it says like in small text in the message, it's like, this is an ad, or click ad. And so this dude is just like, go fuck yourself, was his response back to that. So clearly that guy is not interested in getting some help. And that's totally fine. Like I said at the beginning of this, there's going to be some people who don't resonate with this shit. But let me get back to the topic at hand. Like if you want to be a healthy, fit person, you need to adopt the mindset of a healthy, fit person right now, like before you get started, before you take action. Because when you do that, every little micro decision that you're making on a daily basis is going to be easier to do in the direction of your goals. So again, like it's, do you hit snooze right now, or do you just get up even though you feel like you need another hour of sleep? Because at the end of the day, you need to fucking get up anyways, right? But you set your alarm the night before. Like, are you going to break trust with yourself as the very first thing that you do to start the day? Is that how you're going to, if you're constantly hitting snooze every time that you wake up in the morning, holy fucking red flag. Like, you may think that it's not that big of a deal, but subconsciously, you're starting your day off by lying to yourself. Because just 6 hours ago, probably because you're not getting enough sleep, that's why you're hitting snooze, you need to sleep more than 6 hours. 6 hours ago, when you put your head down and you set your alarm for 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 3:45 in my case, whatever your situation is, you're like, I'm going to wake up at this time, right? And then you wake up 6 hours later and your phone's like, hey, dude, remember when you made that commitment to wake up at that time? And you're like, fuck off. You hit snooze. Because what, you want 3 minutes? You want 3 minutes. You know, logically, that's not going to do shit. It's literally just I need more time to get up. I just want to relax a little bit. Every time you hit snooze in the morning, you're like, it's not that important to me. My goals that I said yesterday, not that big a deal. That was yesterday, Taylor. Yesterday, Taylor really wanted to get fit. Right now, in this minute, Taylor, I just want to lay in my cozy bed. No fucking shit, dude. No shit. You know who else wants to lay in their bed? Everyone else that you see when you go to the gym once every 2 weeks, and you know them from when you were younger, right? And they were fit, like they were, they were always like kind of fit and healthy, and they played sports or whatever, and like, yeah, sure. But now in their 30s, they're still fit and healthy, and they got a career, and they're married, and they own their place, and they have a couple kids. And you're going, well, they just must have a better schedule than me, or their kids must be easier than mine, or they got lucky because XYZ relationships and that allowed them to get a better job, blah, 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 blah. That is another red flag, because that victim mentality that you are going to just like not be able to achieve the things that you want because you're comparing you and your situation to somebody else's situation. What? What does it have to do with anything? The fact that that person exists means absolutely nothing to your ability to actually do the things you want to do in life. Why are you comparing you and your circumstances to somebody else who has zero fucking impact on your life? If they didn't exist, you'd probably just feel better. But because they exist and you see them in your peripheral vision of the life that you're living and you're comparing it to them, you feel bad. What? How can you feel bad about something that you can't impact? It has nothing to do with you. I learned this when I was a lot younger, like thankfully. And I don't know when or what exactly it was that forced me into this mental box where I was like, you can only care about the things you can influence. I don't know when that switch happened, but I am so grateful that it did. Because the more ruthless that it became with my ability to impact things or not impact things, the better I felt. Like there's a direct correlation between focusing on the shit that you can impact and ignoring the bullshit that you can't and how you feel. The more concerned you get, the more thoughts and feelings and energy that you put in to the things that either one have nothing to do with you, like how someone else is doing their fitness journey versus you, or two, things that maybe they do directly impact you, but you can't do anything about it and you still stress about those things. Like that is really, in my mind, when I hear or think about that, I'm like, God, that is such an elementary problem. And yeah, I get it. It's so much easier to say it rather than be in that person's shoes. And obviously I haven't gone through everything that everyone else has gone through. Like some of my clients have shared with me some of the craziest shit that I've ever heard that they're going through. And when I hear that stuff from them, I'm like, God damn, that is brutal. Like, I do not want to be in your shoes. And I get it, why you feel like you want to jump off a fucking cliff sometimes. Like, it's stressful as fuck. And I've personally never gone through that. I get that part. And I'm sure, here's my thing. I'm sure at some point in my life between now being 30 years old and 125 the day that I die, something bad is going to happen. Probably more than once. And probably a lot worse than I could possibly imagine, because I've seen it happen around me, whether it's my friends or my family or my clients, or you see some random shit that happens online. Somebody else has it worse, and you haven't faced the worst part of your life yet. The worst is still yet to come. That's the mentality that I have, because truthfully, I've had a pretty good life. Yes, I've had hardships and things that have stressed me out, things that brought me down. And there's probably a lot more things that are a lot worse that I can't even remember right now. But you know why? Because I don't think about them. I don't think about the things that I can't influence. I don't think about the things that are in the past that I can't touch. I can't move. I can't shake it up. I can't fix it. If I can't fix it, influence it, or do something to alleviate that pressure, strain, stress, anxiety, whatever it is that you're dealing with, then move the fuck on. The faster you can figure out how to do that, whatever way it is for you. Again, I wish I could tell you what it was that I did or when I did it so I could pour that into you. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how I did it or, what things caused me to start thinking this way. But I know for a fucking fact that the sooner you can get over the problems that you can't do anything about, the better you're going to feel. If your girlfriend cheated on you, guess what? That's over now. You can't do anything about it because the deed is done. How are you going to respond to that? Hopefully break up with them. Leave them, move all your shit out. Oh, but now I got to find a new place and I got to pay more rent because I'm living by myself and I got a dog, so we got the damage deposit and all this shit. Yo, that sucks. I get it. That would be stressful. Those things are outside of your control unless you continue to live with that person. But if you're like, I got to get out of here, and you have the dog, and you have to go pay more rent somewhere, or you got to move back in with your parents or something. I don't know. You don't have a lot of options, but you have to do something. So if that means you got to go to crawling to the bank and get a fucking loan so that you can front the first couple months of your living expenses at your new place while you figure shit out and get a better job, I get it. All those things are like really big shifts. See, I understand. But what else are you going to do? You can't do anything else. It's probably going to help you grow into a better, stronger, more resilient individual. There's opportunity on the other side of all the fucking tragic shit that happens in your life. If you're willing to accept that. If you're willing to be like, yeah, this sucks right now and this hurts either physically, mentally, emotionally, financially is a big one for a lot of people, especially nowadays. I totally get it. But if you can be like, well, what do I do now? And you move forward and you lean into that pain, you're going to feel a lot better about it. You're going to become a more resilient individual. You have forced yourself, whether you wanted to or not, you have forced yourself to level up. Because maybe you found yourself in a position, again, like now you're paying more money and you can't afford to live where you wanted to live or need to live or something. Guess what? You got to make more money. So you got to start looking around for a new job. You're getting forced to be uncomfortable to do something better for yourself. And you know what? In 12 months from now, you're probably going to be making way more money. You have a new relationship with somebody that actually cares about you because you learned all those hard lessons with that person who cheated on you. I'm using a very specific example. This is not related to me, obviously. But, man, like, the point is, guys, is like, there's a lot of shit that's outside of your control. You need to fix it. It's your fault. It's all your fault. Whether it genuinely is or not, like subconsciously in the back of your head, you can be like, I literally couldn't do anything about this, but I have to, bear the consequences of it. Womp womp, that sucks. Cool. Just accept it as part of your job. It's part of your fault. It's your responsibility. You got to fix it. And on the other side of tragedy is triumph. On the other side of hardship is success. If you choose to see it that way. I kind of want to come back to what I was talking about at the very beginning of this. I told you guys I was like creating you guys know me, I love to go on tangents here, and I hope that you got some kind of value out of this at the very least so far. But I was making this video yesterday. I was going through some of my content or some of my conversations, and I created this video, and it starts off with like, well, let me see a couple of them. Yeah, that's right. I started talking about the beginning of this. You don't want to be the fat friend in your photos, right? Maybe you're that fat friend that's in the photos and you don't like that, but it's part of like your social identity with your friend group. It's not like, oh, hey, let's make sure we invite fat friend Kathy, right? I don't know a Kathy. Okay. But like, that's not the like, it's not the things that people are talking about or that are said out loud. It's not that anything that your friends say out loud, obviously, because they wouldn't be your friends. But you've kind of adopted this identity as like the fat person, the fat friend. So because that's part of your identity, when you start trying to make genuine shifts in your health to better yourself, you feel unaligned with who you are because integrally you are the fat friend. You're like the fat, jolly friend who's always making jokes and like never gets offended by anything and can always like, it doesn't get embarrassed about going out and making a fool of themselves because like they're the fat friend anyway. So what's the big deal, right? We're all like the pretty girls are like, they have like the standard to uphold where they got to look good and do the right things, say the right things. They need to, they are like expected to attract the best looking guy at the party or whatever. So like they have this standard to uphold, and so do you, as being like the fat friend who kind of jokes around and makes everything easy for everybody and can like, trip and fall and everyone laughs and you laugh along too because you just have such a good spirit about you and like everyone loves being around you, right? That's like the fat friend. But at the end of the day, you're like, I'm actually kind of sick of being the fucking fat friend. Like the good thing about you is that you got the personality that everybody wants, but you don't love the way that you look yet. And when you decide that you want to start loving the way that you look, you start making those healthy choices, you start making changes, you're going to the gym, you're saying no to having that bunch of ice cream, and you start tracking your food, you're doing all the right things. There's like part of you that doesn't feel aligned with who you are because like I said before, you're the fat friend. So when you start adopting that identity of a healthy, fit person before you are that person, then when you're faced with those decisions to either like align with the old identity of the fat Fran versus aligning with your new identity of a healthy, fit person, if you've already mentally committed yourself to being a healthy, fit person, it's easier to make those decisions towards being the healthy, fit person. And I think that like here's the last point I want to make on this too. And this is something that I talk about in that video that you guys are going to see in a couple weeks. But like, people have this affliction to leaning into their ego. Like, you know, you're either a toxic person or, you know, you're obsessive or full of yourself, really vain because you want to look good. You're like, you care about your aesthetics. Like, you want to have a nice ass. Or if you're a guy and you're like, you want to have your arms fill out your shirt or you want to have abs. And for whatever reason, that's like frowned upon. People frown upon wanting to look good. It's like this taboo topic. It's like you should just be like happy with how you are now. And as long as you're, you know, overall healthy, in a lot of cases, like I kind of touched on earlier too, like even if you're obese, like love yourself at any size. Don't worry about it because it's bad for your mental health to be healthy or some bullshit like that. No, not only should you be healthy, which by the way, everybody, like, can we just like level up our mindset a little bit and stop playing down to the lowest common denominator? Like, we should all have at a bare minimum standard of health and fitness of like being able to go for a walk without being out of breath, being able to do, you know, if you're a girl, let's say 5 push-ups, chest to floor. If you're a guy, you should be able to do like 20 push-ups. Like, why am I whispering about this? Because it's like, because we don't have a very strong standard. We really don't. Like, it's not crazy to do push-ups, okay? You should be able to walk up 5, 10 flight of stairs without being fucking winded and need to take a break halfway through. You're a human being. You're the most physically capable species of animal in the world. Maybe not physically, but overall. Like, we are the most dominant species that exists. We're more intelligent. We're more capable. We have more access to resources than any other time in the world. Any other human being that's ever existed. Right now, here in 2025, it is easier now to stay healthy and fit than it ever has been. And it probably equally has been it's probably as easy it is to be healthy and fit, it's probably equally as easy to be fat and lazy too. Because there's so much more convenience. You know, you got like DoorDash and Uber Eats and shit like that. Everything you can order to your front door, your entertainment, anything to like get a hit of dopamine, it's so fast and so easy. Like, we have in Canada and a lot of places in the States, like buying marijuana, weed, whatever is like, you can just walk into a fucking store and get it. You know, so like just feeling good and getting like an immediate dopamine hit, being instantly gratified, is more accessible now than it has been ever. It's also equally as easy to be healthy and fit nowadays too. But people don't like to accept that because you got to work hard. Okay? The difference between being fat and lazy and being healthy and fit is like the effort. I think it's really the effort. Both take equally as much time. And they both have like their drawbacks. Being healthy and fit means you have to like do hard things now. Oh no, but we always put shit off because our little monkey brains are telling us to like just do whatever is easiest and whatever you want right now. Love yourself how you are. Just be who you are right now. That's fine. Do what makes you feel good now. Right? That type of mentality leads to being fat and lazy forever. It really does. Because the only difference between being fit and healthy and being fat and lazy is the decision to do hard things now versus later. If you do hard things now, like when you don't want to in the moment, then you'll be fit and healthy. But if you do things you want to do right now and you ignore the things you should do, the hard things now, then you're going to have to do hard things later. Inevitably. The biggest difference, I would say, like the biggest drawback, and hopefully this is an incentive for you to do hard things now, is that doing hard things later is more complicated because you're older, you have less energy, you probably have less time. And maybe you have more money, but maybe you don't. And for sure, inflation is going to make everything cost more. So if you're like thinking about investing in a coach or getting a gym membership or starting to buy the right types of foods and stuff so you can be a healthy person, right? Going to a naturopath to get your blood work done and like whatever. All of those things now versus 20 years from now, way cheaper now. And you have more time now. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, I don't have time to do this right now, but in 6 months when work slows down. I don't know why I did a southern accent. Sorry, everybody in Florida. Huh. But like, what are we waiting for? Delaying being healthy and fit is the stupidest thing I could ever imagine. Because it gives you more opportunity, it gives you more energy, it gives you more confidence. You're going to have better relationships, new relationships, more opportunities to make more money. Like everything is better when you're healthy and fit. The opportunities open up for you. At the very least, if nothing else, simply because you feel better about yourself. And that's an attractive quality to employers, to a partner, friends. People like being around people who are confident in themselves and feel good and can be open and honest and transparent. And when you're constantly concerned about how you look and you're constantly insecure all the time, people feel that. Like, we're not idiots. If you don't like who you are, then people get uncomfortable around that. Like, imagine, even if, like, forget that for a second. Like, think about when your roommate or your partner or something is like having a bad day and they struggle to like, figure out how to deal with that. And so you have to live in that energy, that negative energy, when they're just walking around, they're all pissed off and shit. Like, no one likes to be in that spot. No one likes to be hanging out with people who are negative, talking shit, even if it's not about you. It's just like you're constantly hearing somebody else talk shit about somebody else. It's like, oh my God. It's exhausting to hear it. It's exhausting to be around somebody with negative energy. And if you're fat and out of shape, I promise you, you're not going to have the same positivity and energy and charisma as if you were looking and feeling your best. So don't shy away from looking great. Wanting to, like, you're having a aesthetic based goal is not something that you should shy away from. Like, lean into that shit. You want to look good, cool, awesome. So does everybody else, but everyone else is so goddamn scared to talk about it because they feel like they're toxic because they say that. I want to have a small waist. No. You know what most people say when I talk with them? It's sad to hear it. But most people say, I just want to feel healthy again. And granted, some people genuinely don't know specifically what their goal is. And being a healthy person isn't obviously a knock. I'm not knocking that as a goal. But I am saying that I think 99% of the time, people do have an aesthetic goal. There's something physically about you that you're not super comfortable with. And if you were to lose some weight here in this area or build up some muscle in this area or see better definition in this area, get rid of that flab, that's the insecurity that's holding you back from being the person that you want to be. So let's just get that shit out in the open. Be like, hey, like I really fucking hate this thing. I really wish that I didn't have a flat ass. I really wish that I filled out my arms and my shirts. Have an ego-based goal. It's good for you. You're going to be healthier. You're going to be fitter. If you focus on your ego goal, you're inevitably going to get fitter too. Because you're doing all the other things that require you to be healthy so that you can get that goal. And that's it. That's all that I got for you. I feel like I kind of jumped around on a couple different topics. I hope that you guys can see through the tea leaves and get some value out of it. If you're a client, post your biggest takeaway inside the community after listening to this. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, I appreciate you. Give me a follow on there. Share this to somebody else that you think needs to hear this. And shoot me a message if you have any questions. I'll do my best to help you out. Have an amazing day. Peace out.